Today, we're going to talk about gurus and spiritual bypassing, so stay tuned. Hi, beloveds, this is Tamala, your empowerment priestess, and I help you learn you and what you do better. So, have you ever connected with someone and just fallen head over heels in love with their process, with their content, with what they do, and then at some point began to look at them and worship them above what you would a normal person? Well, in my experience, that's what I consider a guru. Someone that you abdicate your own personal thoughts and your emotions and all of that. You abdicate your control over all of that for yourself, and you give that to this other guru. That is not something that I recommend that you do. Because what happens is, well, there's lots of things that happens, but primarily what we're going to talk about today is, number one, you are responsible for your own empowerment. And giving your power over to a guru is a disempowered action. Number two, you really want to make sure that you're not worshiping other human beings, because we are all equal. We're all divine. We're all magnificent. We're all incredible beings. Now, some people have more knowledge and wisdom in certain areas than others, and we can respect their knowledge. We can appreciate their content. Someone like me who's also a coach and a psychic, we can bring in content that maybe you can't get from other places, but I am not your guru. And anyone who does want to be your guru, you really want to step back and say, why do they need to be worshiped? Because you're not here to worship other people. You're here to take care of you. And number three is that in having a guru, what tends to happen is people create a form of spiritual bypass, which says, this is mentally what it says, that all I want is bliss. So if I do what this guru tells me to do, I'll find a state of bliss and I'll be in nirvana. I'll be in these places where I don't have to be human anymore. I don't have to be upset anymore. I don't have to have drama in my experience anymore. And here's the problem with that. You're not on earth to be in nirvana. It is a state that we are striving to come to, but we come to that through doing our own mental and emotional and psychological work. We do our own physical work. We do our own spiritual work, which then elevates our consciousness to a state of nirvana. Now, or bliss. But here's the thing. The spiritual bypass comes in when people want to go straight to the bliss and they don't want to do the work to get there. And so what does that work look like? Well, it's going to require going into those nasty, dirty, painful, ugly places inside your mental body, inside your emotional body, inside your past lives, potentially, inside your relationships, inside your beliefs, inside any contracts that you have with other people, inside all of those shadowed places that hold anything that is going to keep you from being fully abundant, fully empowered, fully able to do and be and have anything and everything that you desire. And in order to do that, you have to go into those places. You don't get to skim over them. So if you're working with someone and your intention is to just be in bliss, that's fine, but you're not doing your spiritual work. You're doing a vacation. You're doing a mental and emotional recuperation. You're doing maybe some self-nourishment. All of that is wonderful. But if you're telling yourself that you're going straight to bliss without going through the trauma and the drama and the chaos and having to, in your third dimension, make a different decision, Have those hard conversations with other people. Say no to people. Change the way you eat. Change the way you take care of your body, right? If you're not doing those things in the third dimension, then you're not changing anything. And it's important that you understand, if you're saying, oh, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to I'm going to follow this guru's advice, I'm going to go into bliss, and then my life is going to be bliss, you're fooling yourself, okay? And I want to be completely and totally transparent about your own empowerment, because that's what I'm here to help with. You cannot become empowered by spiritually bypassing your own work. And so if you do any coaching with me, you'll know that I take you straight into those places. I create a place of safety and security so that you can deal with what needs to be dealt with, so we can unearth those roots so that you can plant the new things that you desire. But if you're working with someone who is coaching you to clear your shadow, who is helping you to move forward, who is helping you to evolve, and you're not going into those dark places. And I'm not saying if you've already healed them. If you've already healed them, good, wonderful, magnificent. You don't have to go back because they're healed. But if you've never been there and you've never healed them, and you're working with someone and they're like, oh, you don't have to do any of that at all anymore, there's something missing. And even in the living a congruent life training that I do with Zed and my High Council of Light, that's a channel class, they still take us through the processes. They still have us call those spirits before us to offer our forgiveness, to acknowledge the situations, to release, right? Even as we're moving toward 5D, the processes are getting more refined and easier and simpler, but we still have to do it. And then when we get into our third dimensional life and we see that person in real life, we have to be able to follow through with integrity about what we've decided on a mental, emotional, or spiritual level. So that means telling people no. It means telling people to fuck off if they need to fuck off. It means calling bullshit when you need to do that. It means doing the things that are going to be required for you to prove in the third dimension that you've made a different choice. Because as we move through our progress, as we're evolving, what we're doing is we're making more refined choices. We're learning how to ask for exactly what we want and receive exactly what we want. And that's what this whole earthly process is about. The problem is we come in blindfolded, right? We forget our connection to source. We forget our connection to our soul. We forget our soul purpose. We forget all of these things. And then we create energetic entanglements with other people and situations that create karma that we have to then complete, and so forth. So part of the process of dealing with all of that is also the empowered process of making different choices. And part of making different choices is doing something in the third dimension. So if you have a guru that you're following, a spiritual teacher, and they're telling you, oh, just go to bliss, and you haven't done that bottom work, I'm telling you, it's not good advice. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. Please subscribe, hit the like, and let me know in the comments what your thoughts are here. If you've ever been connected to a guru, if you've ever had your own experience of spiritual bypass, because we've all done it, I'd love to hear about that. And please share as well, because we need to really get the message out that while there's so many opportunities for us to learn and grow, we still are responsible for doing our own work. Take care, beloveds. Make sure you download the Love Warrior Prayer, and I will put that information in the description so that you can get that. And join us in the Your Empowerment Posse, where there's lots of updates and support and contributions on helping you learn the empowerment principle and moving through how to be an empowered person. I'll put that information in the description as well. See you next time.